Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, and it is another brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer? And joining me today is somebody that was recommended to me by a really good friend, somebody that I previously interviewed up here on Who's That Cosplayer, Chaos Pixie. Make sure you check out Chaos Pixie's episode. It is up here on YouTube, and that is Sheasama. Shay, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Hey, I am doing phenomenal, just like AJ Styles, and I'm excited to interview you today. So thank you so much for joining me.
Of course.
So look, before we get into today's interview, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, podcast link down below in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into today's interview. So Shay, the first question that I ask each and every guest up here is, what is your origin story? Every hero or villain has one. Tell everybody who you are. How did you become Sheasama?
It's kind of an interesting story. So growing up, I was super into Yugioh.
Hey.
And I found a cosplayer, Melinda-chan, who she works with Art of Wigs now, but she cosplayed Jaden, who is like my favorite character. He's from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX.
Nice.
And that was like my first like introduction to it. So I found cosplay when I was like 9, but I lived in Germany and we didn't really have access to like Amazon or like anything like that. So like I just kind of had this passion that I wanted to do, but I didn't have the resources to do it. Mm-hmm. So I spent like from 9 to about 12 whenever we moved back to the States, just researching, creating props out of cardboard, any like bed sheet fabric, anything I could get my hands on, I would hand sew it and make little costumes and stuff like that. And then whenever we got back to the States, I made friends with other people who were cosplayers, especially whenever I was in high school. I had a big group of cosplay friends in high school, and that's really whenever we like started going to cons and everything like that. And at like my second or third con with this group of people, they were like, "You need to post your stuff. Why don't you do that?" And I was like, okay. And so I racked my brain about like a name, and I was like, my name's Shay, so Sheasama.
I love it.
Just kind of happened.
I love it. That's an awesome origin story, man. And it's funny that you bring up Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, because I didn't watch it all the way through, but I did watch it when it was coming on TV. I was one of those type of people where I was just like, yo, like, what's going on here? Like, where's Yugi at? Where's Yami? It was just so new compared to, watching Pokemon all the time. And, Ash has been up there for years and he's finally being replaced. But, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Digimon, they were the first type of kid shows that started introducing new characters like that, and I will always remember the theme song from that show. And do you remember the theme song?
Yeah.
Do you remember the lyrics?
The Yu-Gi-Oh! GX one?
Yeah.
I do. It's gonna be the most embarrassing thing ever.
No, do it. Look, I'll sing with you. I'm about to pull the lyrics up because everybody that watches Who's That Cosplayer or the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks podcast, they know that your boy loves to sing. And I'm about to pull these lyrics up because we about to sing the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX theme song. Because sometimes I'll just be humming it in my head and it'd be like, "Game on, get your game on," right? See, your boy remembers. Hold on.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Right.
Let's see how much of this I remember. I haven't heard that song in years.
Me either. That's the only thing that I remember is the game on. I wish that Google would have just
get your game on.
Okay, all right. Okay, who's that? We about to do this. Hey, I'm geeking out right now. Where are the lyrics at?
I'm actually planning on cosplaying Jaden later this year because he was supposed to be my first ever one, but he never happened. So this year's about like doing all the characters that I love. So Jaden's gonna happen this year.
That's awesome. All right, so look, y'all, I'm about to split the screen real quick so that way, because we can both see these lyrics because we about to sing up here. Hold on real quick.
Hold on, let me lubricate.
Okay. Where is the share screen button at? All right, there we go. All right, here we go. Bam. Can you see it?
Yep, it's loading. Yep. All right. We're good.
Okay.
We're good. We got this.
Okay, hold on. All right, let me. Why did this thing get so small? All right. Okay. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's do this. All right, do you want to start or you want me to start?
You start. You start.
Okay. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, y'all ready? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Chilling out with the crew in the schoolyard, finding trouble, never looking too hard. Well, back in class, they never taught us this. Some things you gotta learn, hit or miss.
Tough times, hard climbs, we'll take on the world together. Right now, let's go, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX,
Generation X. Game on.
Game on,
get your game on.
Come on,
you better play your cards right. Game on,
game
get
on,
your game on.
We'll make the great and win this fight.
We'll make the great somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Game on. That's for real. This is it. I thought this.
No, there's definitely more. This is lying.
I thought that there was way more than this. But look, hey, look, we did it. I hope that y'all appreciated that. Give us a round of applause. I'm gonna post this on TikTok. I'm gonna post this on Instagram. And if y'all remember the lyrics, then sing along with us. Make like duet this, stitch this. Let's all do it together. So let's get back to the interview. So I heard your origin story. You talked about your friends in high school and whatnot. You were in Germany. You came back over here to the States. Like, how was that experience, when you first went to your first con and you were cosplaying and whatnot, and like seeing like where you are now? Like, what is the difference? How was that experience like?
Ooh, okay. So that's actually a fun question. So recently I cosplayed Black Star from Soul Eater, which was very much like a fun little nod for myself because my first ever cosplay was Soul from Soul Eater.
Nice.
And I know so much more now than I could have ever thought I would have known whenever I first started, back whenever I was like 13, 14. And just like, I still have my first ever like cosplay jacket that I made because I made his jacket. I made it completely out of fleece, like a psychopath. And just like, it's so bad. It's so bad compared to what I can do now. I'm just like, ooh, but I always try to remind myself like everybody starts somewhere.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask you now, like, what has been one of the hardest cosplays that you made? Because I really love the fact that you make your own cosplays. And again, to piggyback off of what you said, everybody has to start somewhere. And there's nothing wrong if you can make the cosplays yourself, or if you buy them online. You can buy a costume at Party City. And as long as you rocking that costume and you love yourself in the costume that you got on, I'm going to rock with you. So like, how is that, experience?
Yeah, no, I agree big time. Oof, that's a toughie. I think I have a couple of answers.
Okay.
My Princess Peach dress was really hard because I had never made a big ball gown kind of dress before. And so having to figure out like the anatomy of like the patterns and everything in order to get it to look the way that I wanted it to, was really hard. She also was a huge time build. She took me over 150 hours to make.
Wow.
Yeah. And I made her on and off again over the course of like a year and a half. So she was hard because she took a very long time, and it's hard for me specifically to stay motivated on something over a long period of time, which is why like she took so long, because I just couldn't find the motivation to go back and work on her because it was taking so long. But whenever I was able to find that motivation again, it was really nice to work on it again, and to actually finish it and have like my Peach cosplay, because she is a very dear character to me and to my heart. Taco was hard because he's a lot of embellishment. And one of the things that I love about this cosplay that I feel like I achieved really, really well is, even though it's a lot of different fabrics with a bunch of different textures on it, it all plays together really well in a cohesive sort of color scheme area. And I spent probably like 3 hours in Joann's picking out what fabrics I was going to use, just like laying them next to each other and being like, no, that clashes. No, no. Like I spent probably like 3 hours just picking out his fabric. And I learned a lot of new techniques. I made my hat completely. So it's like a foam core base with wire in it that I can like bend and shape however I want. So that was really fun, very challenging, but fun to make. And then getting to add all of his little beaded details, his little bedazzles. I made this trim right here. Like,
it looks nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
He's definitely one that I'm very proud of.
Yeah, I mean, it looks dope, and I want to piggyback and talk about your Princess Peach cosplay as well, because it looks phenomenal. Like, I love Princess Peach, and everybody who knows me, when it comes to playing Mario Kart, Mario Party, your boy always chooses Princess Peach. And to hear that it took you that amount of time to make that cosplay, that's phenomenal. So you get not one pinky, but you get 2 pinkies for that, and one just the tip. But yeah, I just want to say, yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I want to ask you, what is some advice that you would give to anybody that wants to, you know, make their own cosplays from scratch?
Oof. Okay. My first piece of advice is start with small things. Like pants are super easy to make, especially like elasticated waist pants. Those are super easy. So I would say start with small things. Don't try and make you can, but like I would argue against trying to make like a full cosplay straight from scratch as a beginner, because like you need that time to get acquainted with the sewing machine, figuring out like how to do proper seam allowances and like how to do patterning and like all of that other things. I'm actually working on launching a YouTube channel where I'm going to be making beginner friendly sewing videos. Like walking people through how to alter patterns in order to get things like this, or like how to set up a sewing machine, how to pick out your fabrics to add maybe more texture into a garment, or just sort of depending. So yeah, my big things would be start small. Oh, sorry, my brain just like
yeah, the brain fart.
For real. I would say start small, get well acquainted with your sewing machine. Even if like you're just sitting there and you just have 2 scrap pieces of fabric, I would just sit there and sew lines so that way you can get straight lines, straight stitching. Make sure you have an iron, because good sewing is good ironing. Altering things can be one route that you can take, where it's like you go to like maybe Goodwill or a thrift store and you find something that's similar, and maybe it's a vest and you just need to take it up a little bit. That's a good way to like get introduced into altering clothes or creating clothes.
Who's that cosplayer?
Moody Vision.
Awesome. Yeah, that's some solid advice. And to piggyback off what you were saying about creating your YouTube, I think that is a good way for beginners that want to make their own cosplays to learn. And I really love the fact that you can go online and you can find videos of, you know, people showing you how to make cosplays or make props. And, you know, it's step by step, because, you know, I'm somebody that just got a sewing machine for my birthday, and I want to make a Deku cosplay, a vigilante Deku cosplay, because Deku is one of my favorite characters from My Hero Academia, and he's somebody that I what's the word I'm looking for? Somebody I relate to a lot. And now I kind of want to go into the My Hero Academia territory, because you are a My Hero Academia fan, and you know, I love My Hero Academia. I got the Deku shrine right there, got the My Hero pops up there. So I want to ask you, who's your favorite character from My Hero Academia?
Oh, that's such a very like fun question. Because I have a couple. my I have like a love-hate relationship with this character. I really like Bakugo. I cosplay him a lot because he provides me with like a certain level of confidence that I really like. And that's one thing that I really like about his character is that I can feel more confident when I cosplay him. And I really like the character development that he gets throughout the series. But he is very closely followed behind by Kirishima. For a very long time, Kirishima was like a very dear and important character to me. So it's definitely those two.
Okay. Yeah, and you know, to piggyback, I say piggyback a lot, but I want to talk about your Princess Kirishima cosplay that you did, and I think that it looks really amazing. And I interviewed Princess Bakugo, LARP Like Ray, and you can check out their interview as well. And you know, I think it's really awesome when you do like your own creation for characters from the show and whatnot. And I just love the princess theme outfits that you guys went with. So again, pinkies up to that. You know, I love that you said that you like Bakugo because he gives you that confidence. And that's one thing that I love about cosplay, because when you cosplay characters, I don't know about you, but when I'm cosplaying as Jotaro, I am Jotaro. When I cosplay as Deku, I am Deku. So I just love that you said that when you cosplay as Bakugo, he gives you that confidence that you might not have. You know, it gives you the motivation that you might not have because Bakugo is an awesome character. So now I want to ask you, who is your favorite villain on My Hero Academia?
Oh, I'm going to get canceled. I don't have one.
Oh, for real?
Like, if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Hawks, but like, I have a hard time sympathizing with villains. Yeah. So like, if I had to pick one, I'd pick Hawks, but he's kind of not a villain.
Yeah, he's a tweener.
Yeah. So like, I feel like he doesn't really count. I understand the villains. I get their motivation, but they've just never really been like my favorite character. And I feel like that probably just has a lot to do with how I cope with like problems that arise in my life. Like it's hard for me to be like, okay, what you're doing is right. Like, not if you're killing people. Like that's a big thing with me.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. I feel like in the anime, they really don't show it a lot. I mean, they're showing it in season 6, but for real, it's like you really never saw the League of Villains doing anything too evil. And then it's like everybody that joined the League, they joined for their own motivations. But if you read the manga, like they be doing some wild stuff in the manga, and it's crazy. So I get what you're saying. So you even like Overhaul?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now let me ask you this. Who is your favorite pro hero on My Hero Academia?
I don't ever think about this a whole lot because I love like all of class 1A and all of class like 1B.
Yeah.
So I don't really pay attention to anything else. But if I had to pick, it would probably either be okay. Ranking in order.
Okay.
All Might.
Okay.
Miss Joe. Hawks.
Okay. All right. That's a solid list. I'm just happy you didn't say Endeavor. But I like.
Oh, absolutely not.
That's
I don't like the villains. I'm not gonna like Endeavor.
Like Endeavor, like he will never be the number one hero, and I don't care. Like in my opinion and in my heart, All Might will always be number one. Even though he's retired now, he'll always be number one. And you know, it made me feel real sad when they showed the sign that people were putting on his statue saying "I am not here." I'm just like, come on now. It's just like he doesn't have the quirk anymore. He's not. I mean, you know, it's just the way it is. So, final My Hero Academia question I have for you, then we can move on. If you could have your own quirk that's not in the show, what quirk would that be?
It's not in the show?
Yeah, that's not in the anime. Yeah, what would it be?
Is shapeshifting in the show?
Like to turn into like an animal or something like that. Because I mean,
no, like I would want the ability to like turn my hands into other objects, like a pair of scissors, or like
okay,
like just because I feel like that would be so helpful. That or teleportation.
See, everybody always says teleportation. If I had a quirk, it would be teleportation. And you know, it's crazy because I was telling myself that nobody can teleport in the show, and I'm like, what am I talking about? Like, there is somebody that can teleport in the show. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's dope to have a quirk where your hands can turn into anything, because you know, with you making your own cosplays and whatnot, it would come in handy. You know, if you want to turn your hand into a hot glue gun or some scissors or, you know, a sewing machine. I mean, you know, you can do that. So moving along, I want to ask you, give me your top 3 favorite cosplays that you've done.
Ooh, I'm pretty sure they're all going to be from this past year. Number 1 is going to be Taco, because he brings me so much joy, because I love Taz and just everything in general. Number 2, I'm going to go with Leo from Rise of the TMNT. And then number 3 is kind of a toss-up between Hunter from the Owl House and Black Star, I'm gonna say.
All right, I like that, and I'm really happy that you said Leo, because I really love your Leo cosplay. Not only because it's Leonardo, but Leo is my favorite TMNT turtle, and I'm looking forward to the new movie that's coming out this summer. How about you?
I'm so excited. I watched the trailer literally like 20 minutes after it dropped. So excited.
Yeah, man. I can't wait. Like, I've been a TMNT fan since I was a kid. I feel like everybody has. It's like you either like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or you like Power Rangers. And if I had to choose between the two, it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So
1,000%. 1,000.
Yeah,
so I have seen so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is actually kind of one of my lifelong hyperfixations, because I have seen the original 80s cartoon.
80s,
90s.
Yep.
Yeah. I've seen the original cartoon. I saw the 2005 one. I saw the entire run of that. I saw the entirety of 2012. I saw the entirety of Rise. I've seen every movie. I've read almost every comic book. I love the Turtles.
I love that. Played all the video games too?
I wasn't allowed to play video games as a kid, so I couldn't play them. But as an adult, I've been trying to get more into video games. So I'm going to try and see if I can get my hands on a couple of copies.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you now, like, when the TMNT, the 2005 version, when those games came out on the PS2 and the Xbox back in the day, I loved them so much. I wasn't really a fan of the first game, because the first game was only for 2 players. But then when the second game came out, it was for 4 players. But I didn't like that one because everybody shared a health bar, which I thought was dumb. I'm like, why do all the turtles share a health bar? But when the third one came out, the third one was the best one. It felt like you were playing the arcade game. And honestly, I don't think that there's ever been a bad Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game. So if you can get your hands on them, I highly recommend them. And, you know, now I want to ask you this final question. Which Ninja Turtles version is your favorite?
Oh, don't do that to me. Okay. I'm going to get canceled again. But I'm going to justify it.
Okay.
I really love the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because I think it's a very interesting way of changing up the Turtles dynamic. Because in Rise, Leo isn't the leader, Raph is. So we get to see Raph sort of take on this more like responsible role, where we get to see what Leo could have been had he not had that weight on his shoulders.
Yeah.
We got to see Leo be a teenager and Raph be mature, which I personally really enjoy. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea because it is so different than any other past iteration. But overall, I think Rise is super great. And then the 2005 one will always have like a special place in my heart because that was the first TMNT thing I was ever exposed to.
Yeah.
So like the 2005 one is like, they're like this. Like Rise is just a little bit above it, but it's like right there. The 80s one was like, you know, it was the 80s. And then I like the 2012 one, but it's not my favorite because I don't like Donnie in it.
Yeah. I watched the 2012 version and I thought it was okay. My favorite will always be the 2000s version because I just love that intro song. I don't know what it was about those intro songs. Like I used to know the lyrics to that song too. I love being. I do
know all the lyrics to that song as well, but you're not getting me to sing again.
Hey, your boy was about to be like, hey, I'm about to pull them lyrics up and we about to start singing again because man, I used to love singing that song. Remember, watch out for Shredder. I can't remember, but yes, I love that. But yeah, so we are here at the end of the interview. Shay, thank you so much for joining me up here on Who's That Cosplayer. It was awesome hearing your origin story. It was awesome singing with you, and it was just awesome geeking out. So thank you very much for joining me. And before I let you go, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
My ad on everything is going to be Sheasama, Sheasama.
Awesome. And y'all please go and follow Shay on all of their social media accounts and let them know that you enjoyed the interview. And you know where you can find me, your hero Benjamin Banks at KingBenji_Banks on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you everybody for watching this interview. Stay tuned for some more interviews. And like I say every time, keep that pinky up, stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.